analysis, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock, who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Post-game reviews, this the place to tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.
Knicks family, what's poppin'? It's your boy, Cody Pro, filling in for Sim. I got the Queen in the building, and we're gonna break down this game preview. Knicks versus Atlanta. Peace,
Yep,
Queen.
let's do it. How are you? Excited to see the Knicks play again? It's only been what 2 days? I think we played Sunday. It seemed like it's been a week.
It
So
feels, it feels like it,
definitely
and it's been a long week for me, so it's I'm ready for this one. I'm
for
excited.
sure.
Let's
Shout out to the
get it
chat.
going. Always shout out to the chat. Your blackest time. We're gonna lead off with the projected starting lineups. I don't know if anybody's been upgraded or downgraded as far as the Knicks. But as of last night, Grimes was upgraded to questionable, and Cam was downgraded to questionable with non-COVID illnesses. We spoke about that yesterday.
Mhm.
But yeah, let's get into it.
Let's get into it.
Projected starting lineups. Got Jalen Brunson, Fournier, RJ, the normal starting lineup, and Mitchell Robinson and Randall. And on that other side, we get to see that new dynamic duo, Trey Young and Murray in the backcourt, Hunter, Collins, and Capella. Man, this is gonna be another tough one for us. What I
I
like
think
is
so.
it's a challenge all across the board.
No doubt about it. I think every matchup is a good matchup.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
No, no
I
doubt about it.
agree. Um, I know it's probably tough for Sim to choose the matchup of the night, but and we'll get into that as we go along. But I mean, let's go through it. Brunson and Trey Young. What are your thoughts on that matchup, Queen?
This is a tough one. So this is a tough matchup. Um, Listen, I think that Brunson is a better defender than Trey Young, but Trey Young is very crafty with the ball. It's not just one on one. He gets screened off. He gets screened off. He knows how to take advantage of the screen. He gets into the key, and then now it's on with whether he's going with the floater or whether he's passing it out to the shooters. The shooters aren't as great as they were in the past with Murray and Hunter out there, not taking anything away from Hunter. And Murray shooting has gotten better. I've seen him a few times in the early season. Um, but Brunson is not going to give, excuse me, Young is not going to give Brunson any resistance.
Mm.
So Brunson should be able to get wherever he wants to go on the floor. And he should also be able to post up Trey Young, right? And so I think that both of them should probably be able to get theirs tonight. So I'm gonna say it's a wash.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I agree. It should basically be pretty even, but the most important thing in this matchup is actually that center position because yeah, I think Brunson will be able to get in the paint, but if Capella's down there, how helpful is that? So I think at some point in the game, I mean, maybe this is I'm jumping ahead of myself, but maybe this is the time where we see either a small ball lineup with Randall at the 5 or or even Hartenstein more with this unit just to take Capella away from the basket because Brunson is going to get in the paint, but can he finish over Capella and can he find Robinson if Robinson's on the floor? You know what I mean. But find him from the paint area. So I think that's going to be big for us in that matchup. But yeah,
Yeah.
I call it a wash as well.
I mean, Ralph, I want to make sure I get his Ralph Petito. I don't know if I said that right. Brought up a good point, and I agree with it. Murray will probably guard Brunson,
Got you.
and it'll probably be Young and Fournier, and then if that happens, that's a difference
Mm,
because one of the things I noticed in the Milwaukee game and the Cleveland game is when they put the tough defenders on Brunson, took him
hmm
out of the game a little bit, made it harder for him a little bit. Um, I'm not gonna say he wasn't rendered useless, obviously, but it made it harder for him. And Murray is somebody with size, length, quickness. So if they put him on Brunson, it's gonna be an interesting. That's gonna be interesting because is that what teams are gonna do? Going forward, kind of take off the head of the snake and see how we function.
Great point. And it's funny because I didn't want to cut you off, but right after I said I'm gonna let you take the lead on that matchup, I was gonna ask you whether any changes that you see from these particular matchups. And honestly, that makes the most sense for Atlanta to do that. So I think we should run with that narrative and kind of say, yeah, Murray will be on Brunson, Young on Fournier, which and I'll lead in this area. I think this makes it important for Fournier to be effective, efficient, and used often. You know what I mean? You have to take
Yeah,
advantage of that matchup. You can't you can't be subtle. You can't be This is a game that if Young is on you, you need to go off. You need to take it personal and because we're gonna need it. We can't have you passive.
right.
So
Because you're not going to stop him.
yes,
So,
yes.
you're not going to stop him. So, like you said, we need him to be aggressive and to make sure it's not easy for Trey Young.
And I don't know if he automatically ends up guarding Young in that type of situation. We may still want Brunson on Young as opposed to Murray.
Hmm.
So saying that, I'm saying you're gonna have a tough night on both ends. You know what I mean? Because if you got to guard Murray, we need you effective there and out of foul trouble. But if Young is on you, we need you aggressive, attacking, using your height. This might be the time you got to go in your bag and use all your tools. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um,
I,
yeah.
I I think another change, don't be surprised if you see Fournier on Hunter and Barrett on Young. I don't.
Mm,
This is something I
mm.
don't understand that we've seen. Tibbs putting Barrett on the point guards. I don't get it. I don't I don't understand it. But that you know that may happen, and put Fournier on Hunter, who of the three. Yes, I get it, Sherwin. Hunter can put the ball on the floor, but to me, he's less dangerous than Young and Murray. And yeah, Murray.
Yeah. Or Barrett on Murray. Brunson may want to take the task of Young. Um, but still, I think we could see Barrett on either one of those guys, depending on just giving us a tougher defensive assignment, or defensive, you know what I mean, making it tougher for those guys somehow, some way, trying to slow them both down, and saying, all right, if somebody's gonna beat us, let it be Hunter, rather than these two guys just going off. But that also
Right,
puts everybody in danger. As far as fouling out, or early fouls, foul trouble in the bonus early, etc., etc. Uh,
right.
moving on to Barrett and Hunter. I'll let you take the lead on this one.
Um, and we talked about this yesterday, and I know you disagree with me, but if Barrett is on Hunter, I think that's going to be an easier assignment for him than a Young or a Murray. Um, I see Hunter as a 3 and D guy who, yes, can put the ball on the floor, but I don't see him as a very aggressive person
Mhm.
offensively, like a Donovan Mitchell or a Kawhi Leonard or Paul George, who's really trying to get in the key and create havoc. If the shot is there, he's going to take it. If not, he's not. He's not going to force it. So I think that he's not a super quick guy. You know, so I think RJ Barrett should do okay in the matchup. And as a matter of fact, if Hunter goes off on RJ Barrett, I'm upset.
Mm, mm.
I'm upset. Like, this is not Donovan Mitchell. This is not no shade to Hunter, but he's not on that level. Barrett should be able to guard DeAndre Hunter. Now, DeAndre Hunter is a better defensive player than Barrett. So he's
Mhm.
going to make it tough for RJ Barrett. He has the length, he has the height. He fights, over screens. So I think that he's going to make it very difficult for RJ. Um,
I I agree with you 100%. I think
mhm,
where we was maybe I wasn't explaining my concern the right way, because it wasn't my concern of RJ's ability to contain him or anything of that nature. It was more of the importance of him not to get into some early foul trouble, not to
mhm.
let him get hot and him be a contributor. Like
Right.
that's super important, because the other guys are gonna have their hands full. You know what I mean? So so if he's the guy that happens to get off, we're gonna have a long night. You know what I mean? Because I
Yes, no
expect
doubt. Yes,
that.
yes.
So I think I just
Yeah.
explained it wrong, but I agree with
Mhm.
everything you said. Like, this is an opportunity. He just has to play smart, and we might need you to have one of those games tonight, and
Right,
actually take advantage of your matchup somehow. Get him in foul trouble. Get him out of here. You know
right.
what I mean? Let him have to sit down because he's picking up some early fouls. So I would like us to actually run a lot of things early through Barrett attacking, and see what we could do. You know what I mean? But you got to finish and hopefully get to the line.
Who do you
Um,
think wins that matchup?
I'll give it to RJ. I'll give it to RJ. I think he should. I think he should, and he's more important. It's more important for him to win the matchup for our team than it would be for Hunter to win his matchup for his team. So yeah, RJ winning the matchup gives us a better chance to win. RJ losing that matchup, not knowing what the rest what else happened with everybody else, chances are we lost that game. You know what I mean?
Wow. Yeah,
Because we're
wow.
not
It
we're
it
not
makes
gonna
it
be
harder. Mhm.
we're not gonna be surprised if Young wins his matchup. We're not gonna be surprised if Murray wins his matchup. You
Right.
know what I mean? So that I think that makes it more important for RJ to win this.
Well, he's gonna have his work cut out for him, just because of the defensive player Hunter is.
And then moving forward to Randall and Collins, I feel the exact same way. This might have to be the Randall and Barrett game. Like, they got something to prove too. They got things to take personal against this team in particular. You have reinforcements that you didn't have when they kind of embarrassed us in the playoffs.
Mhm.
So
Mm. Wow, you took
again,
it back 2 years ago.
I mean, you- if they gotta remember their last playoff experience, that's what they gonna remember. You know what I mean? It wasn't nothing after, it wasn't really nothing before that. So that's the one that's gonna stand out. Um, but they've improved and we've improved. So now it's like, okay, this is the way you can be. All right, let's see how we do with a better roster, if, or even if we show up, you know what I mean? Because they both didn't play well in the entirety of that series. So, yeah, I think it's most important for these two guys to play well tonight and win their matchups. I'll say that.
So the Randall Collins, for me, it can go either way. I'm gonna say it's gonna be a wash. It can go either way. I think um I'm not. Yeah, I think it can go either way. I
Mm.
like the way Randall's playing right now. I like that he's, not taking as many threes. I like that he's going, to the basket more. But, he's been missing at the rim. You got Capella, you got Capella back there. Um, this matchup can go either way. I'm gonna say it's a wash.
Shout out to Keith Turner. A win don't make up for a playoff loss. Absolutely not. But another loss don't help either. Especially when, we've gotten better and they've gotten better. So it's a measuring stick on where we are at this particular moment. See, where was I going? Move that real quick, throw us back up. Mitchell Robinson. Sorry, Mitchell Robinson and Capella. Last matchup. Go ahead and take the lead.
You know what? I think it's actually our centers against their centers because both us, the Knicks and them do a center share at that position. So between Capella and Okongwu and between Mitchell and Hartenstein, right? I think they're splitting the minutes. I would have to check. It's pretty closely split between Capella and Okongwu. And both of those are rim protectors. It's going to be really it's going to be interesting to see how that the center matchup goes between us and them. They have two rim protectors. We have one. you know, and not that iHeart can't block a shot, but I wouldn't consider him a rim protector. I like our matchup better. I gotta say. And even if they split the minutes down, it's just that we have
A change of direction, a
we
change of
have a
pace.
change of direction, we have a change of pace, and iHeart gives us that, you know, the playmaking, the offense, at that center position. So I like our center position better. But if you're just talking Mitch against Capella, I'm giving the edge to Capella because I don't know which Mitch we're gonna get tonight.
um, no doubt. I mean, Mitch is due for a bounce back game. Like he's been in foul trouble the last two games.
Mhm,
Uh, Capella, not saying he's not an offensive threat at all, but he's not the. He doesn't give. I think he matches up well with him. You know what I mean. So I will say I'm gonna go with Mitch still because I think it's bounce back time. Is due.
mhm.
Whoever I forgot who mentioned it, it said, every such and such or once a week, Mitch have a good game or something to that effect. So this is our once a week. We need it. And then center matchup overall, I agree with you 100%. Bringing in Hartenstein is definitely going to change. That's a whole new game plan for them to figure out
Mhm,
defensively
mhm,
against us when he's on the floor, and not because of his stellar play in any one area, but because he
mhm,
brings a whole different look everywhere on the floor. I mean, passing the ball, getting it big to get out the paint, so opening the paint offensively for us.
mhm.
Everything. Still a good rebounder, could still block some shots. Just gonna be important again. Same with Mitch. Stay out of foul trouble. If our centers could stay out of foul trouble, I think they'll be effective enough to impact the game, advantage us.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
I just
Um,
want to shout out some people in the chat: Kerry Cox, Jay William, or Jay Boogie, Geraldine, Trish D, Bo Ishmael. Shout out to you guys. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Um,
Hardwell, appreciate you,
I
brother.
will. Yeah. Um, I'm still figuring out how to multitask, and so I definitely shout out to everybody out here. Hit the like button, subscribe, all that good stuff. Moving on to the season stats and the record. We're three and
Mhm.
three. They're 4-2. Um, this is another one that looks pretty evenly matched all across the board.
Yeah,
So you
yeah.
look at that. We got the advantage in points by almost 2 points. Advantage in rebound by 7. Assists is pretty even. Steals is pretty even. Blocks them by less than 1. Turnovers us, or they have it 1 less than us. Field goal percentage 2 points separating us. Almost 1 point separating us. I mean, yeah, we're pretty pretty evenly matched on paper.
Well, I until you get to the percentages. Until you get to the percentages. I mean, I get it 47 and 48, but 36 and 34, 82% from the line, 71% from the line. I mean, if it this is a close game,
Hmm.
you know, um, the team that's hitting their three free throws may have the edge, you know?
True.
So
I
let's,
mean,
let's see if the Knicks are better at the line this tonight.
well, yeah, you're right. Those seem to be the two glaring points where if we could step it up, we could win the game. If we could shoot 80% and get to the line, if we could shoot 36% what they're shooting, you know what I mean? I won't even say 40. If we could stay on par with their percentage and raise our free throw percentage, I think we could pull this game out. One stat that isn't here, which I don't know if we have. If we do, I'll figure it out in a second. But one stat we don't have is the bench, which I think because we're so evenly matched across these stats, our bench is going to be super important tonight. Um, where if let's hope the starters could play even, and then the bench can step up and kind of win us the game, even if it's not down the stretch, just in their minutes, win us the game. Um, what are your thoughts on that? And did anything else stand out on with them stats? If you need me to bring it back, just let me know.
Um, I think I, it's gonna be a really good game. It's gonna be a really good game. They got beat. They got beat. I believe they got blown out the last game, so they'll be ready. Their attention they'll be focused. But we lost our last two. So we'll be focused. We'll be focused as well. Um, they're not a great defensive team, but neither are we. You know, so I can't, you know, I can't call it. I know Sherwin is saying that, Atlanta is much, is much better, but they're taking their lumps as well. I think defensively early in the season, I want to say they're at 17, or something, something of that. They're 24th in defensive rating, right? Early in the season, ninth in offensive rating. The Knicks are 15th in defensive rating, but the Knicks got problems defensively. We'll see, and
Yeah.
that perimeter defense has to be smoking tonight.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Before I get into the matchup of the night, is there a particular game plan that you would implement tonight? Um, for instance, if some would say, make sure, don't let. I mean, he's been the Nick killer. Don't let Trey Young go for 30 something. You know what I mean? Don't let him be the guy tonight. So get it out of his hands. Make the other teams be this. I'm not saying that's my strategy. I'm just giving you an example of any particular strategy or game plan you would have um going into tonight's game? And does your strategy does change game to game, correct?
It changed from game to game, you said?
Yeah,
Depending on who you're playing?
based off what you're playing.
Definitely who you're
Okay,
playing.
okay.
I mean, listen, I'm not that I'm not that afraid of DeJounte Murray and DeAndre Hunter out on the wing. I'm just not. But the bottom line is I'm not quite sure what the game plan is. Are you trapping obviously you would want to get the ball out of um Trey Young's hands, but who's going to do that? How are you going to do that?
I
Who,
mean,
you know, who's putting the pressure on him to pass and get the ball out of his hands? Are you trapping him?
that's what I was thinking. I'm not when I said that. I was saying collectively, not having
Right.
one particular person on him. I mean, now maybe you start with one particular person. Like you said, maybe RJ does start on him, and we'll see how that goes. But obviously, I don't think one. I don't think we have that one particular guy that can do it. But
Yeah.
maybe it's a deuce sight. And shout out to Planet 718. I was thinking it as I seen it. Maybe there's a deuce sight. And obviously he's not going to get 30 minutes on Trey Young, but maybe he gets 2 minutes and shows something that gives him more, leads to more. Um,
But this is the thing, you know, about I wouldn't put RJ on him, but I think Tibbs will because RJ dies on the screens. And that's what happens. Trey gets a lot of screens, and then he gets into the key. He keeps the defender on his butt, on his back, and all the options are ahead of him, right? So I'm not quite sure what the game plan is going to be. I'm hoping there's multiple game plans and that we could switch if one is not working. That doesn't seem to be how we work our offense. We kind of have a plan going in, and that's what we're going to stick to throughout the game, regardless of what happens. But I'm hoping that there's multiple game plans and multiple options. Once he gets in the key, now Mitch has to step up. Is Mitch stepping up with discipline? Or is Mitch going to get in foul trouble? I mean, this can go south really, really quick. So I'm really interested to answer your question. I don't know what the game plan is going to be. I'm interested to see um, how Tibbs is going to attack, the Trey Young matchup.
no doubt. And
You
we'll
know,
get into that more at
and
the end
quickly
of
as
the
well. You can put quickly on it, but quickly doesn't start.
with yeah.
You know,
Yeah. I mean, he don't, but we've seen him finish before. Um, so we we shall see. Moving on to matchup of the night, and it looks like we might have two of them. So we're gonna start with this one: Jalen Brunson, Trey Young. Got 18 points per game for Brunson, 29 for Trey Young. 4 rebounds, 4.3 rebounds versus 3.3 rebounds. 7.2 assists versus 9.7 assists. Field goal shooting. This is where it gets interesting. 47% for Brunson, 39% for Young. 3-point, 33% for Brunson. A bad shooting night or year so far for Trey Young at 32%. And then that free throw line, 92 for Young, 73.9, 74% for Brunson. Uh I think earlier you said even, but correct me if I'm wrong. What are your thoughts on this matchup? And do these numbers reflect what do you think? What you think we'll see tonight?
I mean, if they play each other, I would say even. I don't know if that's going to be. I don't know if that's going to be the case. I don't think either one of them can stop the other. And partly because I see Jalen Brunson just getting picked off a lot, and
Hmm.
Trey Young only needs about a slither to either get his shot off or to get others involved. And Trey Young just cannot guard Jalen Brunson, period, point blank. And Brunson can also post him up as well. That's why I don't think they'll be playing against each other. I think DeJounte Murray will be guarding Jalen Brunson. But if they were going head to head, to me, I would say it would be a wash.
Um, is there any reason to be excited about Trey Young shooting 32% so far, or is it or should we be worried because he's coming to the Garden shooting 32% so far, and that's
I
bound to
mean,
change?
yeah, I mean, I listen, I think for any stat, that's about what you've done up to this point,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely. It can change
yeah,
in an instant
it
in a
it
game.
could change. Brunson could hit 100% from the free throw line tonight. Trey Young can be better um tonight. Um, we'll see. I think if they play each other, it'll be a wash, but I don't think that is the case. And I think that's where things get interesting because I'm not sure who we put on Trey Young and they can put DeJounte Murray on Jalen Brunson.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with Kayvon Bergen as well. Make Trey Young play defense. Get him off the court. Make him have to sit for a quarter and see what we could do with him off the floor.
But this is what they did the last time, if I remember correctly. They had Trey Young on Fournier,
Hmm. Whoever it
you
is,
know,
whoever,
right.
go
And
at him.
right,
Go
right,
at him. Like that's
right.
one thing that I think we don't do as a team well enough. If they're putting somebody intentionally on you because they don't want him in danger of being in foul trouble at his position, guarding his position, take advantage of that. Like, don't
Mhm.
use me. You know what I mean? If I'm for you, don't use me as the easy the easy
Right, right, right,
you know what I
right,
mean target. Nah, I'm all right. I'm gonna make you pay. Now you gotta choose.
right,
Maybe you should go down there with Brunson because I'm dangerous over here. Like that's the way I'm looking at it as an individual.
right,
But I agree. Get him in foul trouble. So whoever he's guarding, attack, make him work. Don't look at that as time off for him. You know what I mean? A resting point for him. No, you gotta play over here. Um, another matchup of the night is
boy.
Murray and RJ Barrett, and I didn't even realize he was shooting that 20. I didn't know he had 20 points per game, and I didn't know his numbers was his numbers right there. Like those are some good shooting numbers for Murray.
Yeah, yeah. The few games that I saw, he was shooting the ball well.
I
Um,
mean, better numbers than Trey Young.
right. And that makes them much more dangerous, right? Because
Hmm.
you thought about with the trade that they were giving up some offense for defense. They was getting giving up some shooting. And when you think about Atlanta, what made them so dangerous was you had to pick your poison.
Hmm.
You
Sounds
know,
like
you
nothing
were gonna
changed.
load up, right? You're gonna load up on Trey Young. You're gonna stay home with the shooters, give up the floater, or you were gonna come up, try to stop the floater, try to stop him from getting to the basket, and get the ball to the and live with what happens on the wings. Now with Murray shooting 40% through what 6 7 games they've played. Now you got the defense, and basically they can still play the same way.
Hmm.
They can still say
Hmm.
the same way. He hasn't shot like that in the past. You know, is this something that's just early in the season? I'm talking about from three, right?
Hmm.
Most of his shots was really in the key, going to the lane. He would take a 3 pointer here and there. I don't even know what his volume is. Is it 40%? But how many 3 pointers does he take per
Take
game?
yeah.
Right?
Good,
Maybe he
good
doesn't
point.
take a lot of them. That's important what the volume is.
I, t-
Um,
I was just gonna say. I tell you what. I don't
mhm.
care what the volume is. If his opponent's matchup is 21%, 21.9%, RJ's gonna have to fix that tonight as well. Or take less. To your point, you know what I mean. Shooting
That's what
21.
Randall is doing. Randall is taking less shots. The past two games, I don't think he took one 3-pointer against Cleveland and Milwaukee. But listen, you got to have your wings hitting threes. They have to create space. But I hear you. You shooting 22, you shooting 22%. Maybe not. Um,
and
yeah, I don't think they're going to be playing each other.
each other.
If they are, I would give the edge to Murray.
And who do you think Murray is matched up with if not RJ? You
Brunson,
think it's Brunson? And where would you give that edge?
DeJounte.
Mm, fair enough. Um, let's see. I'm gonna move it right along. I'm not even gonna take it down. Keys to the game. I guess I should have asked you first, but we could just run through them.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
These are Sims keys to the games, by the way. And then if you have anything you want to add to them, Queen, by all
Mhm.
means. But yeah, contain the pick and roll and the lobs. Defend the 3-point line. Transition defense. Limit turnovers. Fourth quarter execution. Let's go through them, and then if there's anything you want to add, we could add. Start with that. Contain the pick and roll and the lobs. I don't think this is in an order for Sim, but if it is, it probably is gonna go lower on the list for me. And I only say that not because it's not a threat, it's because I feel like that's something that we will do. We have pretty much done and been pretty well in. So it's a key to the game, but it's not a concern. Let me put it like that. I think we'll be fine in that area. What are your thoughts on that though? Containing the pick and roll and the lobs.
I'm not sure if we're gonna be. That's their entire offense. If they're still running their offense the way they've ran it in the past.
Mm-hmm.
That is their entire offense. The pick and roll with Trey Young. Pick your poison, right? You contain the lob, or the floater or the lob. The 3-pointers are open. You stay home with your 3-pointers. Now he can hit either the lob or the floater. That's their entire offense. A good part of a good part of their offense. So I think it's a big key to the game. The rotations have to be there. You can't the centers can't be in drop coverage, but then if you come out to contest the floaters, you're giving up the you know,
I mean, I
that's
think
their
Mitch has
entire
been
offense.
pretty good there, especially this year, like noticeably better. Um,
Which one?
Defending the pick and roll, recovering on a pick and roll, even protecting the perimeter. Like he's been pretty good at the perimeter defense more than some of our guards and wings, to be honest.
But
Um,
this is putting a lot of pressure on Mitch
it is,
because you're asking him to step up,
and get back.
contain the float, contest the stop Trey Young, contest the floater, and then get back and stop a lot. That's
I mean, obviously if it's the further away from the perimeter the pick is, the harder it is for him to do that. If it's anywhere in the painted area or free throw line, I think Mitch will be fine in that for the most part. Um, and I also think we should be able to take care of the same type of concerns. Like they should be concerned with our pick and roll and our lobs if we utilize it a little bit more as well. But um,
totally maybe the pick and roll, not the pick and pop, because our guys are just not um, hitting the three. RJ's hitting 22%,
I mean,
right?
yeah.
Who
I mean,
who
I didn't.
who-
I,
who's
I
on the
was I
other
was
side?
saying pick
Fournier
and
is not hitting well either.
yeah. I didn't say pick and pop though. Pick and roll and
Pick and
lobs
roll. Okay.
specifically. I think we're good at defending the 3-point line. I think again it goes both ways. We gotta hit our threes, but we also gotta defend the 3-point line. I do. I thought they were less of a threat in that area, you know, without looking at those numbers and Murray's numbers in particular. And I
We
don't
got to
care.
see the volume though. Like if he's taking two a game, I'm not concerned.
And I don't care if Trey Young was coming into this game shooting 12%. I know he's a threat. You know what I mean? Especially at the Garden. So yeah, definitely got to defend that 3-point line. But I'm just gonna add, we got to hit from the 3-point line.
No doubt about it. And even though our opponent 3-point percentage is top 10, I think it's fool's goal. I think we've been able to get those numbers because of who we've played in the beginning. But the last two games, you could tell our perimeter
Mm.
defense hasn't been great, and it needs to be on point um, today. Now, I, I don't know, like DeJounte Murray, even though he's shooting well, and DeAndre Hunter. I'm not sure what he's shooting. Like those guys don't put fear in my heart from the 3-point line. They
Mhm.
just don't, you know. But that being said, they're shooting well. You have to respect them.
And to your point, yeah, they don't put fear in my heart either. But you can't just give them open looks.
No, no doubt, no doubt, no
Contest those
doubt, no doubt.
shots,
Yeah,
defend that
absolutely.
3-point line, and then I feel even more optimistic. Shout out to Josh. I feel even more optimistic that that we could defend the line, or that these guys won't kill us from the line. Them in particular, Murray and
It
the
all
other
starts with
other
Trey
dude.
Young.
Yeah,
We
but
over rotate. We leave the 3-point shooters.
yeah,
Like you don't need
that's
everybody to
different.
come to the ball to stop the drive.
Transition defense. Your thoughts on that
We got to be
and,
better.
and how important it is? I think we also been good there for the most part too. Um, but that's not saying it's not important because again, when you talked about the lob, that transition, that's where they great at as well. You know what I mean? That's one of
Well,
their
there's a
bread
defense.
and
It's us
butter.
not giving up. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was done.
Transition defense is us not giving up fast break
Hmm.
points. I'm not sure where we are in that category, in terms of but the fact that Sim mentioned it, we may not be that great.
That's
You
true.
know, um,
That's true.
fast break points against. Let me see if I can the Knicks are number 11 in fast break points a game at 15.5 and number 20 in defense. They're giving up
Okay.
15.3
Okay.
fast break
So
points a game. So we would
so
want it to be even better than that.
yeah, I agree. I agree, and I'm glad you looked that up because I was looking at it for the most part. Like we were winning in fast break point category for the most part this season, and that's the way I was looking at it. Um, but now
And
that
we
I
are
see,
by point two,
but
5.5 to 15.5 to 15.3. But
but
remember,
now it looks like it balanced out.
right? And they're not a very good defensive team. But there's been games where the Knicks have only had 8 fast
Mm-hmm.
break points, 5 fast break points. I
Mm-hmm.
believe we got a lot of fast break points early. That's kind of skewed the numbers for us being, but we've kind of
Or
slowed
may
down in terms of fast break points as of late.
but that's why I'm looking at it the other way. I'm thinking those two bad ones brought our numbers to where they are as opposed to the other way around. Because what I mean, overall, that's what I'm saying. I felt like we were winning that battle. Like and we was excited about it. Them first 4 games. You know what I mean? And then it was like we got mollywop twice in that category, like by a lot. So I think that made the bigger
Because there was very good
difference.
defensive teams
I
that
agree.
that
I agree.
yeah.
I agree.
And Atlanta isn't. So we
Isn't
might be
so
able to get some fast break points, but we have to limit their fast break points as well.
absolutely because they thrive in that area, at least historically. Um, limit the turnovers. Agreed. That's another area. We started great. Limiting our turnovers. Brunson was the first 2 games with none. Randall, the first 2 games, I think, with maybe one or one per game. Um,
Mm-hmm.
they're starting to mound up a little bit more. You know what I mean? Not at a concerning rate, because I think we still rank pretty well as a team in that
7.
category. But let's make this a staple of what we do here. You know what I mean? Uh, I'm gonna add to it and say assists. So let's keep these assists up as they've been, 25 plus. You know what I mean? Let's try to keep doing that or get better there, and then keep limiting our turnovers. Let's
Mm-hmm.
let's let's be try to get in that top 5 in assist to turnover ratio as a team, because I think we have a couple of people that are capable of doing that as
Mm-hmm.
individuals. You want to
Yeah, I
add
want to see
anything?
what's our. I was looking at our opponent points off turnover because we don't turn it over a lot, and historically we're not a high turnover team, but the opponents are capitalizing on the few turnovers that we do have, right? And that's part of the transition defense as well. I'm not able to find the numbers, the opponent points off of our turnovers.
Yeah, shout out to Tristy. She said Hahn on pregame just said Trey averages 35.8 in the Garden. Oh, he likes MSG. Yeah, we believe me, we know. Let's breeze through these real quick.
Mhm. Yes.
Fourth quarter execution, obviously super important, especially if the game is close. But either way, I don't care if we got a lead. We just blown a lead, a fourth quarter lead the other night. So let's fourth quarter execution. Let's uh let's close
And
these
fourth quarter
games.
scoring.
Yes,
Because in
absolutely.
Cleveland, we were up by 9, and we could point
9.
to our defense, and
Mm-hmm.
and 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 you would be correct, but we only scored 15 points in that fourth quarter. You're just not gonna
Absolutely.
win scoring 15 points in a quarter.
Absolutely.
It's just not gonna happen.
Absolutely. And
Oh, somebody said Grimes is playing. Let's see if he gets minutes after being on the show for I don't know how long, tells you everything you need to know
wait,
about
is
going
Cam
forward.
playing too? I gotta know, because I got my conspiracy theory. I'm telling you, every time somebody comes back, it's a mysteriously injury or sickness. But we gotta get out of here on that note. Enjoy the game. I think the post game is gonna be a little bit late tonight, but it is happening. So I'll see you guys there. Sim will be there, and
Cam is out.
I Queen, what I said. What we gotta talk about it. Shout out to the chat. Your Black is time. Spread love, like Sim would say, and I see y'all tonight on the post game. Peace, Queen.
Peace.
This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When Sim passed the assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way.